Good day, everyone. This is Juanita Kapp, and I'm signing in here for Meticulous Moments. And today we have an amazing guest, a very, very good friend of mine, my fellow martial artist, my brother, Chris Wetherington. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Now, guys, I have had a morning. And let me tell you, something just came up in my spirit this morning. And I realized once again that every day is a battle, right? It's a battle between good and evil. We have to put on our armor. We're fighting against principalities and powers and all kinds of things that are coming at us. But we serve Jesus, and He is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. His name is a name above every other name. And in life, we have to keep our hands up, because if we don't, what happens? We can get knocked out. And that's the same in every instance in our lives, with our families, with our relationships, with our businesses. Thank God when we get in the ring, we fight with our fists, right? Here on this show, we talk to martial artists and amazing people around the globe who are doing phenomenal and impactful things. But you know, the other way I fight, and that's in life, is I fight on my knees. So I want to hear from you today in the comments. Do you pray? Do you trust God to give you a wonderfully blessed day? Do you expect Him and have this excitement about the fact that He's going to make the way straight for you, that He's anointed you for great things, that He's going to open the Red Seas because you believe in Him? Today, that scripture from Isaiah 54 verse 17 just came into my spirit as I was on my way here. And it said, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and every tongue that rises up against me in judgment, you, and that's God, shall condemn. This is my heritage as a child of God, because my righteousness is from you. So guys, I want to encourage you today, if you are stuck between a rock and a hard place, the only place you can go is not to the left, not to the right. The only place you can go is up. So look up, trust God, stay in prayer, and believe, because faith is so much stronger than fear. Choose faith every single day. We don't bow to people. We bow to the Lord Almighty. And I just had to get that out of my spirit today, guys. In this show, we have wonderful, powerful energy. And it's positivity all around. And that's why we have amazing guests. And today I'm going to bring on the stage here with me. He is an actor. He's a martial artist. He has just authored a book. And he's also a brand ambassador. Welcome, Chris Wetherington. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great. You're absolutely right about everything you were just saying. Hey, all glory goes to God, and we wouldn't be able to do any of this without Him. And I'm just honored to be able to participate and get to serve alongside you.
Thank you, Chris. You know, you're always so positive. Tell us about your morning and your day so far.
As far as my morning, it just started. I work overnights along with everything else that I do. So I've been up all night, all day. It doesn't matter. But it was interesting getting to see you at Houston. I loved the time at the Yuma Martial Arts Hall of Fame event. Getting to be honored alongside you was a true blessing.
Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. It was awesome to meet you in person. It was awesome to meet Mr. Guerra there. Eric Lee was there. So many impeccable people. And you know what strikes me every time I meet these high-level people that are doing powerful things in the world? They're always so humble. And I guess that's the secret sauce. That's why they just keep on going and never lose momentum, because they remember that humility, there is power in humility. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I totally agree, because the humble nature is the essence of the martial artist. There is a lot of martial artists out there with everything between the highest level to the lowest level. But the ones who are the most humble, even the ones that have all the credentials in the world, if you stay the most humble, you're going to have the right mentality, for teaching your students, helping people, and making the biggest and most positive impact in the martial arts world. Yeah, you talked about Eric Lee. I loved meeting him. I helped him in a seminar. I loved getting thrown around by him. He actually complimented me at the World Championship tournament about my humble nature. And I got to say, to date, him complimenting on how humble I am was one of the greatest compliments I have ever received from anyone. And I did not take that lightly. It's like, oh my gosh, it kind of made me a little awestruck because I just go about my day. I just try to help people, just try to serve as best I can. And I hope I have a good persona in front of everyone because you can't always see what everybody else is seeing when you're doing the actions. And when others pull you aside and say, hey, you're doing this great, thank you. It's just a very honor to serve and even hear that feedback.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Having that servant spirit, and in the personal and professional development realm, we talk about having a servant leadership. And I have to say that with the martial artists, there's very many types of leadership out there. And I mean, entrepreneurs out there, there's life coaches, speakers that I work with, people from the Navy and the Army, all across the globe. Transformational leadership, there's so many. But when I look at martial artists, I see servant leadership because what we learn and draw from the martial arts is what we want to give and help us build and pay forward. And that's the first thing that struck me about you because we were on a phone call and you were talking about, bringing upliftment, helping people, making new strides, assisting where you can, being involved with whatever you can. And that is commendable. And that's why you're a world champion because you always serve, you always stay humble. And of course, you keep training and learning. And, the most powerful martial artists that I know, they have a teachable spirit. If you're a martial artist out there, or if you're in the private sector, or maybe you've never done martial arts before, let me tell you something. Life is a lifelong journey. It's a journey of learning. It's a journey of being adaptable. It's a journey of being teachable because nobody out there knows everything. I've spoken to martial artists that have said, they have 10 degrees. They say, but every time they go into the dojo and somebody shows them something, they feel like they are a white belt again and they can't wait to learn. What's the process like for you?
Like what you just touched on, I totally agree with everything you just said. And the essence of what I want to do is everybody behind me, I want to pull up to my level and even greater and even surpassing me. When we were talking about Houston, one of my students got the Humanitarian of the Year award, and I got to accept it on his behalf because he wasn't able to make it. But the essence of what I do is I want to pull everyone that comes behind me above me. I want to elevate them to the highest potential they can have. And I don't care if they're better than me or not or whatever have you. I'm going to be me, but everybody else that I encounter, I want them to be greater than I ever will. I want them to be stronger. I want them to be smarter. I want them to have the best status possible. I want them to have the best life possible on and off the mat. And that's my essence, and that's what I want to give them. Because the folklore of martial arts is the fatherhood and the father-son relationship. Because the teacher, in a sense, is supposed to be like a father figure and nurture you from that white belt. So the white belt status is like infancy, raising like a small child all the way up through adulthood. And that's what like the levels of the colored belts into the black belt ranges. And that's what I hold dear is that nurturing effect.
Absolutely. I agree with you totally, Chris, and that's the heart of a champion. That's the heart of what we do. I really am so, so blessed to be a part of the martial arts community, know people like yourself because we are such a close-knit community. We cheer for each other. We help each other. We really become family. I always tell people that, the dojo is really your home away from home, right? If you're not at home or at work, where do martial artists want to be? They want to be in the dojo. And I've learned not only kata, kumite, jiu-jitsu, self-defense, bunkai, weapons. That's not the only thing I've learned in the martial arts dojo, guys. I've learned life lessons. And I take those principles that I learned there, that in the martial arts dojo, and I take them into my life. That's how I run my business. That's how I study at university. That's how I raise my children. That's how I build relationships with other people. I think that martial arts has had a wonderful impact on our lives and it will continue to do so. Now, what year did you start? What age were you when you started? Because I started late in life.
Well, I started several different disciplines throughout my years. My base art now is Tang Sudo, and I've been doing that for a while. But I originally started when I was a little kid with some wrestling and some light boxing. And then it's like as I got older, I went to different arts, and I found Tang Sudo about 15 to 20 years ago. And like I said, I just started with that and just moving on up. Is you know how you were saying you can always learn from different teachers. You're always a white belt. You can always learn new things. So I've had many teachers, many mentors, learn different disciplines, and I went to this discipline, I went to that discipline, and I just see it as a toolbox. I rather have so many tools in my toolbox, and maybe I don't need all of them, but isn't it better to have all the tools in your toolbox just in case you might need one of them rather than to not have it?
I agree, Chris. Absolutely. I mean, and Tang Sudo is such a wonderful style. A shout out to my grandmaster, Gary Henry Omen, also in Tang Sudo, and he's an amazing person. I'll introduce you to him. And this is what we love to do on Meticulous Moments, guys. We introduce people to each other. We network. We build. You know, you mentioned being fluent in different styles, learning new things from different disciplines. I agree with you completely, and that's the power of the MAM group, of Meticulous Martial Arts Mastermind, because it's people from all over the globe, world champions, high-level martial artists that come together and that share their knowledge on their style and their journey and their history. But you are not just a martial artist, you're also an actor. So tell us about your acting.
Well, actually, I got a show on the streaming network, Talk About a TV, called The Masters Council, which also at the Omaha Hall of Fame event, two people I nominated were the producers of that network that were honored. And because of our work in the martial arts and the platform we use, because I convinced them that martial arts is a very special ability and that many people are interested and need that mentorship. So I developed a show called The Masters Council on Talk About It TV, and is one of the flagship shows of that network. And it's just an interview show where I bring on the martial arts legends, and I have like a fireside chat with everybody. And it's like, okay, I'll ask the hard questions. I'll also like ask about their careers. They'll go over, but we'll get into, let's say somebody that comes in through your door to your dojo that doesn't know anything about martial arts, doesn't even know what they need. I know what a lot of those white belts would ask on their first day. I know what questions they should ask. Sometimes they don't even know the right questions to ask. So a lot of time in my TV show, I will ask the questions on the student's behalf, and then we're going back and forth. But it's kind of like interviewing the expert, and then we're using that as a catalyst to mentor people. Let's say they're tuning into the show for the first time, have no interest in martial arts, and then they learn something and they get guided wisdom from a mentor, because there's people out there that don't have mentors in their life. They don't have that person they could go to and get this valuable wisdom. But through this show, you can turn on to our network and say, hey, I want to learn this. I can learn that. Oh, that's amazing. I didn't even know that.
Right? Absolutely. I agree with you completely. There's always something to be discovered. And guys, life is beautiful. We are so blessed to have today. We are so blessed to know the people that we know. We have so many things to be grateful for. I learned gratitude in the martial arts dojo because I discovered myself in the martial arts. I realized who I want to be, who I am, and what I'm capable of. Of course, always God gets the glory through His grace. And I think one of the very big things, Christian, I see that lapsing in the world is respect. I learned respect in the dojo. I respect people. I don't care where they come from. I don't care what they do. I respect all people. I treat all people with dignity. I listen to their viewpoints. I listen to their opinions. I'll have wonderful discussions with people on whatever level they want to discuss. If it's academic, if they're doing another working in another field in the industry, we can talk to them on that level that they communicate. But the most important part is to respect people, to honor people, to honor their humanity. That's very, very important to me. Um, I never talk, down to someone, and I'll never hush them up, or I'll never lose my temper when I don't agree with them. What is your opinion on the importance of respect?
Well, you know that when you go into a dojo, you'll see the instructors bowing and the students bowing, because the essence of the martial arts is respect. The first gesture, you'll see a student or a teacher, whoever walks in that dojo, the first thing they do is bow when they walk into that building, and they're paying respect to where they train at, and then they pay respect to each other. So the essence of martial arts is respect first and foremost. That's the first thing you do. You do that during. That's the last thing you do when you leave. So respect is always the key component in all things, on and off the mat.
Right.
And that's what it attributes to everything in life outside of that dojo. You train so many scenarios inside that dojo, but it's to prepare you for life stuff. Because I believe the highest attainment in martial arts is not having to use your skills for a violent altercation. Since I've been in martial arts, I have not needed to use my physical skills. I've been involved in several life or death situations, but I didn't even have to use any physical violence whatsoever, because I used other skills to avoid a situation. I was using my skills to help others in this situation that could have turned violent, but I prevented violence with no violence.
That's the beauty of martial arts, and that's what I love about Cobra Kai, because it shows the different nuances of what martial arts can be. Daniel being the soft and flowy person that talks down any situation, that doesn't like to engage, but when he has to, he does. And then Johnny on the other side, he just wants to, fight and train and equip, and I love both of those characters. Shout out to Christy Roberts, my wonderful friend. He was featured in the latest series of Cobra Kai. I'll connect you two with each other as well. I believe that we should live in peace, and just because we know how to defend ourselves doesn't mean that we want to be in an altercation. Of course, if we cannot get out of it, we'll have to respond and reciprocate. But the first thing, and all of the martial artists I know, they will rather diffuse the fight than start something. They'll rather choose a way of peace and talk about it than start something. And that's a beautiful thing. Now, you have been in movies. Tell us about your acting. Tell us about what you're doing there.
Okay, I'm going to be in the movie The Karate Breaker. Grandmaster Gary Wisniewski out of England is directing and starring in this movie. And because they already started filming, I was a last-minute addition, I'm going to get to film a 5-minute scene, and it'll be digitally edited into the movie. And he actually gave me a starring role credit, and I'm on IMDb now for this credit. I haven't really got into acting before, and I'm new to the TV realm. We started with Talk About It TV, and then it's opened up other doors. And I'm not a public speaker. I'm not this, that. I'm a guy that likes to be in the trenches. I like to be helping people. I like to be not seen, not heard, just, kind of invisible. And I've been given the spotlight. And in my TV show, I talk about being the flashlight, because the essence of me, I want to shine the light on everyone else. Like I said, I'm not used to having the light on me. And even though I've done a lot of things, I've gotten in many Hall of Fames, been credentialed, been in books, been in media, like podcasts and TV show that's wildly successful. And now this movie that's coming, and who knows what else is coming after that. Like I said, the spotlight being on me, I want to reflect it. I want to shine that light back on everyone else, because I want to pull up everybody behind me, I want to share it with all that have come before me, all the great mentors that have helped me every step of the way and that are continuing to help me. Because I have many mentors that I hold dear to my heart, and I use their knowledge, and I want to always pay them respects through my actions. And then they're teaching me every step of the way, and I hope that I'm teaching them something as well. But Michael Hornsby, for example, he has been vital. He's been vital to my success and the knowledge. I have many of them, but he just one I'd like to point out, for example, because he was just talking about his book, Elite Black Belts Who Cook, which you know how you were getting into martial artists have many talents. I want to just pay respect to that cookbook because one of the things he was wanting to do with that is show, hey, martial artists do other things. Huh, we also cook.
You
And
see? Wonderful, wonderful. Shout out to Michael Hornsby. He's amazing. I've discussed his cookbook with him as well. And guys, I have incredible news. I've signed Chris on with Ma'am and with Meticulous. And we are going to do great things together because I believe in him. I believe in the capabilities that he has. And it goes beyond capabilities for me, guys. With all the people that I work with, it goes to me. But that's my opinion. I believe people are anointed for certain things. And I believe God uses every single person on the planet to have a design, to have a destiny, and God is in control of that. So it's not coincidence that we have crossed paths. And I want to also say thank you to Chris for nominating me for the UMAOF. It was a tremendous honor to be able to attend and receive that award. It was really something that just it made my year. I'm so happy about that, and I'm appreciative. And a shout out to all the grandmasters out there that we know and we work with, and the ones watching, because we want to say thank you for everything you do. Like Chris, you are helping people. As you're rising, you're lifting them, you are pushing them forward, and you are just being a good example to them. Now, not only is Michael Hornsby an author, but Chris recently published a lovely book through Elite Publications, and I'm very familiar with them because I know GM Jesse Bowen very well. He was my first MAM member, and he's still a MAM member today, and I'm also publishing my book at my event at the MAM Hall of Fame this year. I am launching it with Mr. Bowen, and it's going to be in Dallas, Texas, December 6th to 8th. So make sure I'm going to put some information down here. Chris is going to be there. Lots of people are going to be there from all over the globe. 6 facilitators coming in from Belgium, UK, Thailand, Netherlands. 2 are from the US. I'm from South Africa. So guys, you can't miss it. If you have nominations, email me, DM me. You'll find me on social media. But Chris, I want to talk about your book. Tell me, what did you write about?
Well, actually, you mentioned Jesse Bowen. He does Elite Publication, and I actually was featured in his Who's Who in the martial arts compilation books. So the books that I've been in a part of were part of Elite Publications, and I was a co-author credit for his compilation book. So I'm part of the Who's Who, and then the newest book that he just released was the 10-year anniversary edition of the Who's Who in the martial arts edition. So I was in Cynthia Rothrock's 9th edition, where she was on the cover, and then I was featured in this 10-year anniversary edition, all by Elite Publications. And then I was also featured with my wife, Valerie, as well as myself with a credit for Elite Black Belts Who Cook. We were featured in that book, which was also done.
You're a multiple international best-selling author, and you are not stopping there, that I know. And you're doing great things out there. Our journey is starting. Our collaboration is starting. Let's get to the place where we talk about our personal things that we go through. I mean, I'll use an example. Sometimes we have amazing highs and lows, right? Sometimes we're at the bottom in the valley. We go through things, or we plateau, or we're on top of the mountain. So we have disappointments, we also have great victories. What was one thing that you went through in your life that was a disappointment, and how did you deal with that?
Mm, there was a part of my life that was really hard, but I wouldn't say necessarily disappointment. But what put me on the martial arts journey was being bullied in school. And one of the things I like to talk about is the anti-bullying platform, because when you're bullied, I've seen it in every level, all the way from preschool to elementary school, middle school, high school, college, even in the common workforce. It's like no matter what age you are, there's always seems to be bullying and abuses everywhere you go. And it seems like you can't get away from it. And seeing that kind of evil, and there's so many people are harmed by it physically, emotionally, psychologically. And I've watched so many people suffer when I was younger and I did not have martial arts at the time, and I was being bullied in schools and mistreated by people. That hopelessness, that's what drove me to when I finally did get access to martial arts. Is okay? I want to stop this evils.
Yeah.
I want to get that hope that I didn't know was out there. Because when you're bullied and you're abused or whatever have you, you don't know that you have access to hope. A lot of them feel so hopeless. And then another platform is suicide prevention. A lot of people get bullied, they might take their own life. And I've seen that before. I've seen people, families be destroyed by that. And then it's like when you feel you have no hope, you don't always put your decision making skills to the test. It's like, because sometimes somebody who takes their life because of whatever reason, it is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And I want to get to help people through the martial arts platform, because I want to let them know that there is this hope out there. There's these resources out there. But in martial arts, less than 2% of the entire world even do martial arts. So that 98%, you're either somebody's predator or prey, and there's just everything in this world. And it's like, I'd like to see 100% of the world do martial arts, not just 2%.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of untapped quality in this world that needs to be shown a better way of life. And that's what these media platforms are so important, because we can see, let's say, hundreds of millions of people watch television, billions watch television. Let's see, have more marketable martial arts on that television that inspires the masses. And that's one of the things that's gotten me recognized, is through my Talk About It TV. We've reached millions. And I said on my show, I've done more sitting in this chair talking to people through my TV outlet than in the martial arts world. Because I could go train this person or that person hand to hand. But if I go on my computer and then I talk to somebody and then this is filmed in front of hundreds of millions of people, I think I've done more for the martial arts community sitting in this chair than I have than just go see one person on a Saturday, for example. Not to diminish that, because that's great. Every accomplishment, every action is great, but it's a bigger scale. Let's help everyone, not just one person. But I will help every one person that crosses my path.
I agree with you completely. There's so many different ways of helping, and you are doing it in your capacity, and it's working. Chris, you mentioned that only 2% of the world engages in martial arts, really practices martial arts. And first of all, I want to tell the martial artists out there, when you hear those statistics, do you realize how special you are? I always tell people martial arts finds you. Because I hear stories of how people started and why they started and when they started, and it's almost like martial arts found them and it changed the trajectory of their lives. And I want to encourage the schools out there. I've been saying this for years, Chris. We need to bring martial arts in as a subject in school to teach children the values, the core values, the morals, to set them up for successful lives. If they don't want to continue after school, that's fine, but teach them as a subject in school, like PT. Teach them martial arts because it's going to open up their mind. It's more than just a physical thing. It's spiritual, it's emotional, it's your soul, your everything. As your human being gets changed and transformed and shaped, it shapes your character. Now we have friends out there that are practicing martial arts, that are working really hard in dojos, that are bringing their contributions to society by raising up strong young men and women for our future. What are your future plans? What do you want to do out there? I know we talked about it, but I want the audience to know, what is the mission?
Well, the mission has always been what it is from day one. I want every person I encounter, whether it be through TV land or in person, I want to raise them up to be the best version of themselves. I want them to surpass me. I want them to reach their full potential. And I want to help everyone that be the best version they can be on the mat and off the mat. Because when the pandemic started, the online classes, the Zoom, everything started, because all I ever heard before the pandemic ever happened was, you have to be in person. You can't learn online. You can't learn distance learning courses. But when society shut down, everybody realized, oh, maybe you can learn long distance. Maybe you can learn from another country and you can get that value.
That's
and with
right.
media being what it is today, everybody has access now, and there's no reason not to have the benefits that martial arts upholds. And that's always been my mission, is to serve and use my skills to teach all that who were willing to learn, because there's only two things that you need to be a great martial artist. One, you need to follow directions, and two, give effort. If you do that and you have a good mentor, then there is no end to the possibilities of your success. Because
That's right. That's right, and I agree with you. And being a part of being teachable, aspects of being teachable is you have to listen and you have to do. I mean, I've met people that you work with them in the dojo, they listen to what your advice is, they do it, they have success. Some of them have success sooner than others. You know, sometimes it's a natural thing, sometimes they have to work a little bit harder, but the point is, they do reach those goals. They do learn that kata. They do excel and exceed because they keep on doing it. They keep on doing it. They keep practicing and they keep that positivity. And I said the other day, I can't remember who quoted this, but I was sitting in a sermon when I was still an ordained pastor. And I love the fact that we're in the hybrid state now. I do. I think it's amazing because we can either be online and we can be in person. You know, anything's possible these days with technology. But the person was preaching and he was saying, the choices we make is the life that we live. And when I heard that, and this was many, many moons ago, you know, I was ordained pastor almost for 2 decades, right? That's a long time. And it really touched me, and I decided I'm going to make good choices for myself, because my choices, they really spread out to the rest of my life. They affect my children, they affect every area. So I have to be careful about the choices that I make, because the choices, he said, we make is the life that we live. And I've lived by that ever since. And I choose, Chris, every day to put out positive energy. You will rarely see me in a bad mood or downtrodden or, you know, negative. That does not happen because I choose. Doesn't mean that I'm not facing things in my life. It means I make a choice to stay positive and to put positive energy out there. Now, I mean, you've also faced obstacles, as do we all. How do you stay positive every day?
just kind of what you were talking about, what you implement is what you were talking about was a strong character, because the values you were talking about, to how you were doing and how you're upholding yourself and carrying yourself with good integrity and good character, that's all you need to do is stay the course. But like a lot of people don't have those good mentors that don't teach them that. A lot of people, oh, I didn't have that knowledge. I didn't possess this capability. And you got to find a teacher that helps you with that, because I've had those struggles before. I've had many mentors, and there was a lot of times where I didn't have this specific mentor, that one that I needed, because I was struggling with this, I was struggling with that. I needed that mentor. When I finally got that, it was an eye opener. It's like, oh, this knowledge could have helped me 20 years ago, but I'm glad it's helping me now.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Those lessons stay with us. They stay with us, they become a part of us, and they ultimately shape us. Life is a blessing, life is beautiful. Martial arts is giving life not only to people and dojos but to communities. And I'm so happy to see that you're excelling and exceeding in everything that you're doing out there. Congratulations. You've been in multiple Halls of Fames. You're going to be in the upcoming film. You've authored books. You've signed on with Meticulous now. We're going to do great things together. And you're also a MAM Hall of Fame inductee 2024. And that is such a huge blessing to have you on board, Chris. I know that your heart is in the right place and that you've worked for everything that you've received, you've worked for. What is your advice to someone out there that have been working at certain things for a long time, but they don't see those results just yet? What would you tell them to encourage them?
Well, just keep trying, because that's all you can do, because sometimes your progress is halted because either some obstacle in your life or something you're doing or not doing, but also it's on the good Lord's time. Sometimes it might not be the right time for you, and also keep that in mind, because and also you may have not crossed the path to the right mentor. He might be able to give you valuable information that might speed up your process. It's like, oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, this could help me, because we're talking to Grandmaster Jesse Bowen, being mentored by him, being mentored by Michael Hornsby. I've gotten valuable knowledge from both of those figures that has propelled my career, and working alongside them. And like every time I want to see them, I just want to give them a big old hug and a thank you for all that they do.
Right.
And their wisdom has changed my life. And I'm just proud to be an example of their wisdom, to implement it in my life and then reflect that and follow in their footsteps. Because I'm the next generation.
Absolutely. Their legacy has transferred over to our lives, the ones who went before us, and we are building a legacy and we're going to help others. So absolutely very, very excited to have our wonderful friend Chris Wetherington with us now. You mentioned something. You said, never give up, keep going. And I remember something that Babe Ruth said. He said, it's hard to beat a man that never gives up. Now, I've been in situations, guys, and we're going to hear from Chris now as well. I've been in situations where all the odds were stacked against me, and I just kept pushing. And every single time, God came through for me, and I made it. And not only did I make it, it turned out to be something amazing. It turned out to be a stepping stone. It turned out to be a victory, because it's hard to beat a man that never gives up. Now, I'm thinking of that scripture that says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me the strength. And there's so many ways to apply that scripture. But I said to someone this morning, I can do anything. And I have to say, guys, it's only because of God. What's your thoughts on that?
I totally agree with everything you said. And a lot of what I've earned, a lot of what has been achieved in my life, and the people that have helped me every step of the way, I never imagined in my wildest dreams what God has blessed me with currently and going forward, and then what's coming next. I just, like I said, I'm in awe, and I just want to keep going forward, keep trying, and keep persevering, because the person that never gives up and just keeps going forward, you'll be amazed at what comes your way, what crosses your path, and what you're able to achieve with that mindset of constantly going forward. one of the things I tell people, martial arts is like a race to the finish line that you can never cross.
Right.
You go to achieve perfection, but perfection does not exist. So why are you striving to achieve something that you can never achieve?
That's right.
Because that means you can always get better. You can always improve. It's like you're running a race. The finish line keeps moving forward ahead of you. You think you're going to cross it, but it keeps moving with you, and you can't cross it. But I think that is a valuable analogy, because if you got to work so much harder to cross that finish line, then you're going to be doing your best. You're going to be upright. You're going to say, hey, I got to work even harder. If it's this hard to cross that, then I got to keep on doing more.
That's
And
right.
then that causes that perseverance. So strive for perfection, but don't see it as, oh, I can never attain this, so I'm going to give up. No, it means you got to work so much harder to even be anywhere close to it.
That's right.
So keep going forward and persevere. Because that's one of the best features a martial artist can have, is learning perseverance. Because you go through white belt, through the black belt ranks, and you got to persevere to get from white belt all the way through. You're persevering every belt rank. You're learning and you're forging yourself to be the best version of yourself. And it's multi-year commitment. It's a lifetime commitment.
I agree. I completely agree. I'm thinking about, perseverance really makes us tough. It helps us to, when the next obstacle comes, to say, you know what, I've faced this before. That's it. What did they always say? I think they say, this is not my first rodeo. When things happen and I'm like, whoa, I stop and I breathe, because that's what we do in the martial arts as well. And I think, I look at that obstacle and I see it as a challenge. Because it's not my first rodeo, guys. It's not the first time I've faced something. I'm going to get through it. If I'm not going to get through it, I'll go over it or I'll go around the sides. But something is going to give, because I'm not giving up, and neither is Chris, and neither is any of our martial arts friends out there. And that's a beautiful thing. It's something that teaches us to be body conditioned. When we go through the training, we get I don't think people realize with the martial arts, we have injuries, guys. Yeah, there's blood, sweat, and tears behind the scenes. It's not just all the beautiful things that you see when we participate in tournaments or nationals or, all stars. There's a lot of hard work behind the scenes, but that is not something bad. It's something that gives us endurance. It's something that really conditions us, not only physically, but in so many other levels. Now, I want to ask you, are there any shout-outs that you want to make today? As we come to the close of this session, we'll be back, guys. Chris and I are going to be doing a lot of things together. But as we close off this session for today, is there a shout-out you want to make to anyone?
First off, I want to make a shout out to you, because I want to congratulate you on your Hall of Fame induction, because it's not just because I nominated you. All the hard work that you put in, everything that you have earned and achieved, you did the work. You deserve the recognition. I was just at the spotlight to be able to propel you. Like I said, I want to pull everybody behind me up, and I want them to see the highest level of excellence, and that's my nature. I just want to help in every way I can, and I want to thank you for what you do, and it was an honor for me to bring you to Silverio, and you got inducted based on your merits, and it was just an honor to see somebody, a friend, that to be honored, because I found you, and it's like, oh, over here, these people are great. Come over here, and let's all shine a light together.
Well, thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. You just made my day. I appreciate you, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for our journey. I'm grateful for the things to come. I'm so positive. I'm energized, guys. Do you know that positivity and gratitude and happiness all carry an energy? So does negativity and depression. We don't choose those things. We choose to focus on what's good. We look at that silver lining. Chris and I, we're putting out that positive energy. It's got a vibration. And today is going to be a great day. And not just for us, for all of you out there. And I want to say thank you to our wonderful, wonderful guest, Chris Wetherington. He is a martial artist, he's an actor, he's an author, and he's a brand ambassador and a Hall of Fame nominee. He's going to be inducted, guys, because he deserves it. And I want to thank you for being on the show, and I really appreciate you, Chris. Until our next session, have a very blessed day and go get some rest. You haven't rested in like hours. Oos.
It is a complete honor, and I thank you for everything, and it's an honor to get to serve alongside you, and I look forward to everything for years to come and all the greatness we could do together. And your uplifting spirit is an inspiration to the martial arts, and I'm going to make sure as many top people come to you and let their stories out, and we'll help them every step of the way to spotlight all this greatness, and we get more of the world to see all that.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you with all my heart. God bless you. Stay blessed. Have a good rest. And we'll chat soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Guys, what a wonderful session with an incredible person, an amazing martial artist. He's Chris Wetherington. Make sure you follow him. Make sure you get on his page and get involved in the things that he's involved in. And most importantly, cheer him on and pray for him on his journey, because he's doing amazing things out there. I thank you for being in the session with us. I'll see you in the next session. Stay blessed and keep praying. Bye-bye.
Beginning, baby, that was it. I want me 'cause I take into, I'm into it. Figures the best of photos. I never know.
Yeah. My mind and I ain't no social activist. I'm asking this. Stay for a while now. Put the guns down. You can find another way. You can heal from your pain. Stay for a while now. Put the drugs down, you can find another way. You can heal from your pain.
Beginning, baby, that was it. I want me 'cause I take into, I'm into it. Figures the best.
There's no one like you. In the valley where the shadows cling lies a base camp of dreams where hopes take wing, but the summit calls out with a voice every night. It's the place where the brave and bold belong. In our hearts we've needed it all along. Now it's time to break free from the chains that bind. Search to the top, where dreams take flight. Embrace the unknown, no longer hide. Journey's not easy, but oh, it's right. New beginnings await, take your first stride. With each step we take, we don't care if we fail. No longer confined to the same trail. As we climb, we find freedom in our glorious tale. We wear authenticity like a badge of honor that always leads into breaking the mold, growing bolder every day we breathe. Search to the top, where dreams take flight.